Now, okay, I know the story so far is very confusing and also very kind of awkward and also kind of TMI, but bear with me, trust me, you will need the story later on and it will make sense later. But basically, period weeks is something that we go through, the girls go through during their puberty. And there's a day on a random Wednesday. I remember it was MDE class when I got my period at school, really randomly at school hours. And of course, I panicked a lot. And I did not have enough courage to ask my friends for some toiletries that I needed. I met my friend, Ngân. Hi, Ngân. I also met my friend Bảo Anh. Hi, Bảo Anh. And apparently we go through the same situation. Ngân had like the small situation at her old school at her nurse's office. And Bang apparently has the similar situation. So we thought we'd make a good team. So welcome to our community group where we talk about the female needs accessibility. First of all, about us, a little information about us. We are three teenage girls currently studying at 9 Copenhagen NYP Year 4 program. Does that make sense? And this is our community project. And we all have a passion for feminine and the related stuff relating to female and what they are going through. And before going to the actual community project, I want to guide you guys in the agenda for today. So first of all, I am going to talk about the background information, basically what does period in girls mean, for those who don't know, and basically talk more about what period cycle means. Next, I'm going to talk about the problem that we have addressed in our society, which is the TDS community, and also the solution we gave. Next, I am going to walk you guys through the planning process, the ideas and the backstage process, the things that you guys don't see, basically. And then I'm going to also guide you guys through the research project progress while we research about the needed information so that this project is possible. And also we gather thoughts from students about this project. And next, the fifth is actually the most important part of the community project because it's actually the taking action and the outcome, which is the result of that taking action process. And lastly, we were going to do reflections on the ATL skills and also reflection as a group as a whole. So first of all, there are precisely 257 high school, middle school female students. Don't ask what I know, but trust me, it's accurate. And more than 80% of the students have gone through something we call puberty. And puberty in female basically means experiencing something called period cycle. I am actually not going to talk much about what period means because actually we also investigated in our research and tried to find some documents talking about this, but it's all in scientific language and all talks about like cells and everything, and it's really confusing. So we're just gonna say it's basically experience something called period cycle. So what is period cycle? So period cycle is something that happens in the body of girls during growing up, and it's a completely natural and healthy part. This is sort of like a schedule that the body follows, but unlike your not periodic, your timetable for school, it's this schedule right here is super messy. We don't know what's gonna come. It's super unexpected, and during these times, we use something called toiletries, for example, pads and tampons for girls. So, period. Like I said, periods during puberty is super messy. You don't have like a time frame for it. You don't know when it's gonna come. It's super messy. So it's very messy, and we cannot control it basically. And then even though it's a natural and healthy thing, it's still not recognized enough. And that's also partly the reason why we're standing here at this auditorium right now to talk about this, because the problem we have addressed has been in society, especially in school, for a very long time now. And we are going to be here and address it, even though it's really sensitive, even though it's very uncomfortable to talk, even though it's not that, it's very sensitive, we are going to address it today. So the problem we have addressed and also we have found in our background information and also from our personal experience is that the period of girls might happen when they are in school hours and when they are not prepared with the toiletries they need. So by then, we think that if that's the case, we should provide and advocate for free emergency toiletries for high school and middle school students in bathrooms. And we also have goals for the outcome and the process, and we stick to those goals. Next, we are going, Ngân is going to lead you guys in the planning process of this whole community project thing.
So this is our process journal, the notebook that we write pretty much everything in. And this is the brief summary of our plan. We plan to create posters for recognition, basically create 3D posters so that people would notice it and then hang it around hallways. We will include the QR code for our Google Form survey on the posters so that anyone who are interested in contributing to our project can. And we plan to run a test for 1 month in 4 bathrooms that is mostly used by middle and high schoolers. By test, I mean we plan to provide toiletries in bathrooms to see how people react and how much they like it. And after analyzing, we realized that the best location would be the bathrooms in our hallway, since it would be best for us to keep track of the data. And now to the research and investigation. This is the responses that we got from our Google form. And as it may be a little bit biased, but most of the people who responded were ninth graders, since we tested in the ninth grade hallways. But you can see that pretty much most of the people who responded thinks that it's important to have toiletries provided in female bathrooms, and they think this project is necessary for them to have like a better community to study in. And for the people who said no, please contact us if you're here for future development. Uh, After that, we investigate which exact type of toiletries to provide, so it would be best for the test. And we realized that toiletries are really expensive, especially if we are self-funded. So we decided to narrow the plan down to 2 weeks in 2 bathrooms on our hallway. This is our this is a DIY tray that Leah made, and this is our poster.
So everything was really cool. We have managed to do our first sample test, but can you guess what happened? So our first original plan is to continue this test for a whole month to see what will happen. But something happened, like really big issues that only lasted for make this project only lasted for 2 weeks in general. So all of the toiletry that we provided disappeared. Weird why. So we assume that it was because a lot of students were want to steal all the pads and toiletry for their own because they think that it is like a short term project, it's just for a one time use, so they want to like take a beneficial of it as most as possible. That is why they stole every single one. And how can we solve this problem? And we have came to 4 different solutions. So first, we only use one type of pads to reduce the cost. So if even if the student are trying to steal the pads or just want to take too much stuff, we won't be wasting money on those type of student, and we will still have more money to spend because we're self funding. And secondly, we should have monitor and restock team. So we would form a team of students who are also interested in this subject like us, so they could monitor and just restock and just take account of like everything that will be used and basically every pads that tampons that have been taken or just added. So thirdly, we have education and awareness. So if we trying to continue this project for the next semester or the next school year, we might be able to create many different social media accounts or just workshop for people to advocate for free forestry for women and teenagers in general, and just make this project bigger and create a bigger community of people who cares about this type of issues. And lastly, we should do peer education by just communicating with our peers, our friends, to make this project more relatable and just to make it more efficient. Um, so that is why we decided to contact the school and the DSC for it. So we soon to realize that we're just a group of 3 students who doesn't have like that much of space in this really big school. So we decided to contact for bigger people in bigger community, which is the DSC, the Dewey Student Council. We contact them to arrange a meeting with us to help us writing the proposal and just to help us with everything that we plan to do in this project. Which here's the proof that we already have a meeting with them. Um, After that, we have able to successfully create a proposal that we include everything that we want to do for this plan, for this project, which we already asked Mr. Simon, our project supervisor, for more help to identify the people who should receive the form, the proposal. And we used all of the data from the survey and the form that we made to create this proposal and to make it more reliable for people. There's our response. So firstly, we sent the email to the SED department of the school, but I soon realized that we're the IB program, so we have to send it to the head of IB curriculum, which is Mr. Nguyễn Trọng Tùng, and we already arranged. Nguyễn Bảo Trợ, and we already arranged a meeting with him, and it was going successfully, and that's just why 90% of this project gonna be continued in the next school year, because we're not really sure if we will have enough funding or enough support for this project. And secondly, every further planning and process will be take as soon as possible. So here's the reflection part. So in our process journal, like Ngân mentioned before, we keep track of everything on it. And this is one of the diagram that we made, which is the iceberg structure. So you can see there's two main part of this structure. So the first part is what is visible to us, the top of the iceberg, which is what we successfully done to provide for the school community, which we have provided 1 week sample, 1 month sample of forestry, and we have create survey and proposal for the school. And the under part, the parts that are not visible, is what we did to receive all of that goals, and which are we research a lot of the type of the path that we use. We create survey and just ask for a lot of opinions, and we just do everything that we are said in the presentation. So here's two of the most challenging things that we have faced in the process of doing the project, which is the first one is procrastination, and secondly is time management. And that is why we're going to go forward to the ATL skill to see how we achieve all of that skill throughout the process of planning and doing the project. So you may ask, what are ATL skill? Because if you're not an IB student or just a parent, you might not know really clear about what ATLs are. So basically, think of them like pie. There are 5 pieces of pie you can cut into, and each piece of them contain a skill that you need to achieve in every project in the IB curriculum. So imagine this delicious cherry pie that your mother, your grandma just baked for you for your own party. It's really tasty with a lot of fruity pie and cream on it, but just put an image of goals and stuff for the IB, and that's basically it. There are 5 main part of the goal, which are separated into 5 different categories, which focus about thinking skill, self-management skill, communication skill, social skill, and researching skill. And how have we achieved all of those skills?
For thinking, uh, we were able to identify the community that we were in and the audience that we plan to help, and we analyzed data that we got from the Google form. We identified the gaps in our plan, and we were able to improve the project. For self-management, as Bảo Anh mentioned, we struggled with procrastination and time management. So, but however, we will still be able to pull through, and we were pretty much very good with keeping track of our budget expenses, inventory, and project progress.
So for the third skill of the ATL, which is collaborating, we have successfully collaborating with peers, with students around the school, around the campus, and we also communicate with teachers and the community in this school to create a proposal by gathering information and opinions. And we also communicating effectively through this presentation you're watching now, because if we're not that good at communicating, you won't be able to understand everything that we mentioned in the presentation. And last, the fourth one is collaboration, which we have built relationship and working collaboratively with many students and peers. We have gathered information with the school administration and to create the proposal that we use for this project. And lastly, we show empathy and understand towards the need of teenagers, because if we're not that empathy, showing empathy to students, we won't be able to form this process at the first place.
Lastly is the research part. So we did our research primarily sourced by gathering the student thoughts and also feelings about this project to see at the first place should we do it or not. So for our secondary source, we also gathered information about the types of toiletries and also the cost of the toiletries for furthermore progress. And lastly, thank you all of the parents, the students, the teachers in this auditorium for listening to our community project. And because since we are still planning to continue this community project, if there is any questions or inquiry, please contact us in these 3 emails. And lastly, I want to shout out to Mr. Simon, Mr. Tate, every single teacher, and the people who have supported us through our survey and our peers for helping us achieving this community project today. Thank you so much.
And last but not least, when we look at the diagram, the survey that we have made, there are some people who answer it kind of like really because they don't really like our project that much. So we're really looking forward for those people to contact our emails to see what can we improve about our project and how can we further develop it to make more people supporting it and just to make the project more bigger still. Thank you.
You.
Bye.